Well, good evening, everybody. As you know, this is the inauspicious prelude to the evening show. We're going to do this every night. I'll sign in at 9 o'clock, but the show doesn't officially start and launch until 9:04:25. That's when the station picks it up. And in about 9:01, which is really in about 20 seconds here, I've got to hit the button so we're ready. And then we officially go off the air at 9:56:25. So I'll try to not burp on air, even though we're on air, technically. So if you see this in archive, this isn't the official start of the show. Anybody watching later, this show starts in a few minutes. This is just kind of the build-up, getting ready to go online. It's prepping you up. I'm giving you the warm-up band segment of the show right now, except there's no band. There's just me. So, hey, good evening to everybody. Brianna, good to see you. I got to say hi to you first because you're out there. You called everybody weirdos. Freak. And Scott Lowry, good to see you. Matthew Sainsbury, good to see you down there in Barbados. And Field Guy. Here, I'm going to hit the button, so I'm making sure that our button is pushed and ready to go for the show. I got to turn my headset down a little bit because I get my own monitor in my headset, and I don't want to be hearing that. So there, everything's set up there. I just want to make sure all my settings are good. We got a couple of minutes before we start yet. Let me just double check my settings for audio. Make sure we're going through the right mic and the headphones. Yeah, we're good. We're good. We're good. Everybody can hear me. All right. So tonight is actually the official relaunch of the show. And you're going to see it's like, it's like when I have to go out of town and work for a couple of months, and I come back and Rainey sees me, and we're still married, and we're still doing a family, and we're still doing stuff. We just get reacquainted. So we're going to be reacquainted tonight. And Roger Rabbit, good to see you. Matt Finn, Master Finn, good to see you. And I hope I'm not missing anybody who's hanging out. Robert V, good to see you, brother. Susie Q, glad that you're here. Sarah Nichols, good to see you. And who else we got going? So, folks, just so you know, you can view this show live now here with the chat room in the YouTube channel, or here over on Facebook on the Odyssey Facebook page. So I don't have a link for that here. It's in the description down below on the YouTube. If you'd rather go onto Facebook, you can chat over there as well. My chats here will respond to both groups. You can also just go listen if you want to over on OdysseyRadio.com, and you can click on the player over there. I'm keeping a close eye on the clock here because at 4 minutes and 25 seconds after the hour, we go live. We're alive and happening. And just before that, though, we're going to go blank for a little bit. You'll see a black screen. You might see the scroll, but I'll go black on here. And kind of like this. I'll go like this. Whoosh, now I'm back. And hey, Doug, good to see you. Glad you're here. Sarah Yusuf, good to see you. I hope I'm pronouncing it. Yusuf, good to see you. Glad you're here again. Nice to have you. And we got about 4 seconds and we go live. So I'm going blank right now.
You're listening to the Intrepid radio program with Scotty Roberts. Intelligent Talk.
Are you looking for a really awesome and amazing graphic designer? How about an illustrator or a photographer? This is Rainey Roberts, and I wanted to tell you how you can get my designer, illustrator husband, Scotty Roberts, to work for you on your project. Do you have an awesome self-published book but no cover, or even worse, a cover that really sucks? Do you need a kick-ass logo for your company or some f***ing awesome graphic designs for your ads or website? Then get in touch with my husband for the best f***ing awesome kick-ass design and illustration. He knows his stuff and he's been at this for more years than I've been alive. Go to ScottAllenRoberts.com. That's Scott with 2 T's, ALANROBERTS.com to take a look at his online portfolio of work, or call 651-468-8115. Now go out and kick some ass with some kick-ass graphic design.
Hire my dad, so he can take me to Disneyland.
You're listening to the Intrepid radio program with Scotty Roberts. Intelligent Talk.
All right, guys, we're live. This is Scotty Roberts. You're listening to and watching the Intrepid radio program right here on Odyssey Radio. And you can go see all about Odyssey Radio at odysseyradio.com. And Odyssey's spelled a little oddly. It's not like Odysseus or Odyssey, the actual word. It's ODYSY.com. I almost did it the old way. ODYSYradio.com. So go on over there, check out Odyssey Radio. They're still building the site, still adding new hosts and radio shows to the network. So check them out. You can also hear this show, if you're not there now, over on the YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/Scotty Roberts. And you can go over to Facebook, over to Odyssey Radio's page on Facebook and watch this show live and join the chat room there. And, of course, you can go to Spreaker. You can listen to it live there. It's audio only, and there is a kind of a chat room there. It's a comment section that everybody can see. But that's where you can listen to the show really at will. Anytime you want after this show is done, you can go listen to the archives there, and you'll see a bunch of archives over there. Now, sadly, they're not named and dated at the moment. I've got to go back through, but you can go listen to anything that's been put up over there. And, of course, over here on the YouTube channel, you can listen to about 600 different archives of this show going back 2-3 years. And even before that, before we were actually doing a show on Odyssey. So I want to thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you for giving me your time. I appreciate that. You don't know how much that means to me. And what else was I going to say about that? I said hi to some of you in the prelude to the show. If you're over in the chat room, hey, everybody. Leslie Hoker, good to see you. Matt Finn, Matthew Sainsbury, Kelly Moran, Romeldian, good to see you, and Field Guy, and Susie Q, and Sarah Yusuf. And Sarah, tonight is not about Moses and Akhenaten. That was an archived show I want to say it was last Thursday. And the second segment, I talked about Akhenaten and Moses. We're not going to talk about that tonight, but we'll have another night where we'll get to that. Tonight, we're going to kind of hit some psychological stuff. You know, those are some of my favorite shows, the ones where we kind of dig in a little bit. This has nothing to do with the paranormal. It has nothing to do with ghosts. It had nothing to do with history so much, or archaeology, or weird history, or earth science, or politics, or anything like that. We're going to be talking a little bit about self tonight, and I think some of us need some of this. Some of it's going to sound on its surface like old hat stuff that you've heard before about psychology and self-esteem and all of those types of things. But I want to hit this from a little different angle because I think it's something many of us, maybe even nowadays, starting to dwindle a little bit on that self-esteem issue. Who am I, lost in this great world of conflict and all the BS that's going on around us? So we're going to talk about that a bit. And but we're not going to get into it quite yet. Also, I did an interview with Micah Hanks this morning. Now, some of you may know him. Old friend of mine, prolific writer, brain and a half. This guy is an intelligence level that's beyond me by far. He writes about science. He writes about some strange stuff. Sometimes, yeah, I think one of his first books was Myth, Magic, and no, I can't remember the name of the 3 M's. But he's written several books out there, and he had me on to interview me about The Sword and the Clay, and we got to talking about history. We got to talking about Egyptian history and Roman history and things like that. And then also into some of the wild stories of Will Bird that I wrote about in The Sword and the Clay, his paranormal experiences. That's going to air, I believe, tomorrow. And I'm not sure what time Micah's show airs, but we'll find out. And I'll make sure that you get to know about that. I'll put an announcement up. And so it was fun talking with Micah Hanks, but it made me think about some things that we haven't talked about on this show for a long time. It also reminded me of things I want to remind you about The Sword and the Clay. Well, first of all, there's a Kickstarter going. That's got 17 more days to make our goal. And so if you haven't ordered your book, pre-ordered your book, you can go over there and make your pledge now. And that pledge, boy, I sound like Jerry Lewis's telethon there, muscular dystrophy telethon for a moment. Go make your pledge. But what I mean by that is you pledged the amount of money that you want to put toward your book or toward the company or toward whatever's going on. There's different levels of pledges. There's also a blank one. And you can just pre-order your book and get your book. And part of this is also not just to publish the book, but to show our publisher the interest level in this kind of work being done and the continuing of publishing this kind of book. You've heard me say that 100 times already in the last couple of weeks. So we've got 17 days left to meet our goal. And so we could really use your help over there. Go take a look, spread the word around, tell people, hey, order this book, or hey, put some money into this company. It's going to be a really efficacious thing to do for the future publications of books like these. And so I am just glancing over at the chat room over here to see what's going on. So I see You Don't Know Me Mom is here. Hey, haven't seen you live for a long time. Good to see you in here. And so all you got to do, by the way, for the Kickstarter, just go on over there. Since I don't have the link to paste, it's a short link and there's a long link. Just go over to Kickstarter.com. In their search engine, type in The Sword in the Clay, the title of the book. Just like, think of King Arthur, the sword and the stone. This is the sword and the clay. If you type that in, it'll bring you right to my page. And you can look it over and see what's going on. Thank you, Matt Finn. I appreciate that. If you go next to the pledge button, the green button there next to the video, and there's a little, it's got like I think it's a Facebook and an email or something like that to share it. There's the little greater than and less than symbol with, I think it's a slash in between them. You click on that. There's a short link that you can grab and copy if you're sharing the things. You don't have to share a 300 character link. So I'm going to thank you guys. Thanks for being here. Thanks for putting up with me during a campaign period. This is like running for president, only different. You're going to hear about it every day. You're going to see about it every day on my social media because we're trying to reach that goal so we can make this thing happen. So thank you very much in advance. And John says hello. Hey, John, good to see you out there or hear about you. Professor Bauer, nice to see you here. And so today when I was talking to Micah Hanks, I was talking about, of course, Will Bird and his story. That's the basis of the book, The Sword and the Clay. And I've got it here. This is his his memoirs, Ghosts Have Warm Hands. And it's really his story. The person who wrote the foreword to this book, he said, Ghosts Have Warm Hands is one of the most powerful memoirs ever written about the First World War. And look at it. It's not very long. It's Will Bird's own account. Sorry, I got cords and things all over the place. I was trying to reach for my glasses. And I wanted to read you just this very short little introduction that Will Bird gives this book. He says this, and by the way, when he's using the word recruiting, he wasn't out recruiting, knocking on doors and looking for soldiers. That was the term they used back 100 years ago when they were signing up, enlisting. He said, when recruiting for World War I began in my hometown of Amherst, Nova Scotia. I was 24 years old. I'd been in Western Canada on a harvest excursion and had serious thought of settling there. But I returned home to enlist at the outbreak of the war. Nevertheless, twice as many men tried to enlist as were needed, and any excuse was used to turn a man down. This is during wartime. And in my case, it was bad teeth. Now, as I wrote about, Will Bird had broken teeth from playing hockey that he had never had repaired. And so he had bad teeth and he was turned down by the recruiting office. Imagine that. He says, disgusted, I went back to the West in Saskatchewan and was there when my youngest brother Steve was killed. I immediately returned and tried again to enlist and was accepted. I reached France in December of 1916 and served until the war ended with the 42nd Battalion, Royal Highlanders of Canada, the Black Watch, they eventually became part of. Composed largely of men from Ontario and the Maritimes. It was a wonderful experience, he speaks of the war, in the sense that life in the trenches forced men to know each other in a manner that is impossible in civilian life. One got to realize that courage is a quality which comes to the fore unexpectedly and is often greatest where least expected. Fictitious names, he goes on, have been used frequently in this book in order not to cause any curiosity on the part of readers. And the events related in this book, however, are all true. Their telling is based on diaries that I kept during the period. And then he goes on to write his memoirs of World War I. And this is the man who, in my book, of course, finds the old Roman sword in the mud and the clay. And he, of course, has his experiences with that as well, and his ghostly experiences with his brother. But today, in talking to Micah Hanks, I got a chance to recount the battle that took place in ancient times in Amiens. This sword had ended up in the clay 2,000 years later, and Will Bird found it, and nobody knew why it was there, whose it was, who it would once belong to, only to be able to date it 2,000 years old. And of course, it dates to the time when at Amiens, Julius Caesar was fighting the Gallic War, waging the Gallic War, I guess is the way to put it. And he had a fort at Somarabriva, which is loosely translated, Somarabriva means that place by the river Somme with the bridge. And that is now present-day Amiens, France. And this is where the battle took place that Will Bird was part of. And he found the sword in the craters after 100 days of German bombing. And so we went back and we recounted that battle that I wrote about in the book. And Micah asked me about writing fiction and writing about real history at the same time, because the story of Will Bird, of course, while it's true, and it's the true part of the book, I had to create, as you all know, and you've heard on the show before, I had to create my characters, the Roman characters, because there was no way that we knew who they were. So I had to create plausible characters. And then I had to write why that sword might have been found there 2,000 years later. Why was it left there on in the ground, eventually in the ground, over the centuries? And why were the Romans in Amiens, France, ancient Amiens, France? And of course, during the war, there was a battle fought there during the Gallic Wars. And mentioned in Dudio Maris, I mentioned the other Gauls and things that were going on there. And so I had to create a story in this book that gives you a plausible rendition of the battle that took place there. Because in Dudio Maris, the Gallic chieftain laid siege to Caesar's fort. And Caesar had left with the bulk of the troops, and he told the 3 legions he left there, about 12,000 men, pull into the fort, break it all down on the outskirts, make us look smaller than we are. So when the Gallic chieftain came and laid siege to this fort, he was thinking he had a much smaller force to deal with. And of course, what happens during this battle? I fictitiously got Marius Abruzzo, my character. And by the way, I just had this because I was talking to Micah. This was the actual illustration, and many of you have seen that. That's Marius Abruzzo and his 2 brothers, the sword, of course. This is the man. He becomes a centurion, and he gives the order. I've got him fictitiously as the centurion who is laying down some of the orders during that battle at Samara Briva. And so what they do, they throw the gates wide open, and they rush the oncoming soldiers, even though in Dudio Maris had 60,000 men. The Romans had 12,000. So they had five times as many men. But they waited until the right moment, and they stormed out of the gates of the fort, the Roman legion, and they didn't form ranks. They just charged them. And they were slaughtering the Gauls. And I've got, of course, the death of Indudio Maris comes at this point too. And there's, I've got fictitiously, I've got Marius Abruzzo as being the man appointed by Caesar, the centurion, to take some men and hunt down Indudio Maris. And so, because Indudio Maris had broken his word and his pledge to Julius Caesar, and Caesar said, I don't know if we did this on this show or no, I think it was somebody else's show. I was talking about this. And I said, I'm doing my best Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, not Al Pacino. Sorry, Al Pacino. Al Capone impersonation from the old movie, The Untouchables. Because Julius Caesar, when he found out that Indudio Maris had broken his pledge to him, and that Indudio Maris had raised 60,000 men to fight against Caesar and try to oust Caesar out of Gaul, Julius Caesar was like, I want him dead. I want his family dead. I want his friends dead. I want his dog dead. I want his head on a platter. Now, put Robert De Niro playing Al Capone doing that, and you get the idea. So the way this all works out is I've got Marius Abruzzo being the man that's appointed to find Indudio Maris, to hunt him down and to either drag him back to Caesar alive or to bring his head. And Caesar was like, I don't care which. And so this is how this whole story unravels. And I've got Indudio Maris when the Roman soldiers come pouring out of the fort, and they're overpowering the greater force of the Gauls. Indudio Maris makes a run for it. All we know historically is that he attacked the fort and laid siege to it. We know that in Indudio Maris, there's several different accounts of how the battle took place. There's different accounts of how Indudio Maris died, but it was either right at or shortly after this battle at the fort, and they say he was killed in a river. And but then there's other accounts of that. So I took that and I used that and said, because the Roman fort was right on the banks of the river, and that this river is where, this fort, as they attacked and the Romans came out, I've got Indudio Maris retreating. They run around the fort. They on horseback. They head to the river, and there's action that takes place there. And I follow the course of history at that point, even though I've had to fictionalize it. So that's the fun thing about this book. The Sword and the Clay is I've mixed fiction with a true story with real history. And even in history, you don't always know what you're getting because you're just getting the accounts of the people who won. And on occasion, you get the accounts of the others as well. So there were a couple of ones I had to work with, accounts. And so I just figured out a good story to go along. Matt Finn says, a book I always enjoyed reading and listening to in audio format, Art of War. I happen to have a small version of that right here, Sun Tzu's Art of War. And I think it was right here. And yeah, there it is. Whoops, sorry. Knocked my camera a bit. I just wanted to root for this. It's sitting here. This actually, you see this little book? This thing went through the wash machine. But I got one of these little books. It ruined the dust cover that was on it. But it's a little tiny version of Sun Tzu's Art of War. And you can see that if you're seeing the camera. And if you were just to look at this, I happened to flip open just now, coincidentally, to military combat. And what does Sun Tzu say about military combat? Let's see. He says, take control of the strategic balance of power and move. The one who first understands the tactics of the circuitous and the direct will be victorious. And these are all little sayings you can see that he has in here. There's some longer sections, but you can see they're divided up. He says, when the men have been unified, the courageous will not be able to advance alone. The fearful will not be able to retreat alone. This is the method for employing large numbers. And he goes on and on and on. And he's got some great military philosophies here that actually spill over into a lot of things. They can be applied to a lot of things in general in life, which I found very interesting. Here's one I flip back to. He says, when the general regards his troops as young children, they will advance into the deepest valleys with him. When he regards the troops as his beloved children, they will be willing to die with him. If they are well treated but cannot be employed, if they are loved but cannot be commanded, or when in chaos they cannot be governed, they may be compared to arrogant children and cannot be used. And he goes on and on. So the Art of War, Matthew or Matt Finn, you mentioned this, and so I have it sitting right here. So I wanted to take a look at it. Sarah prefers Rumi. I like Rumi as well. So I don't want to give the impression that the Art of War is all we read here. So there are other things that we read here as well. And tonight's show is going to be a little different. We're going to kind of toward the bottom of the hour here, where we're starting to get there right now. We're going to go into a little different vein than we started off with tonight. So let me end this first segment by saying, if you have not gone over to the Kickstarter and made a pledge, you can make a pledge tonight. It does not charge you tonight. You would only get charged if and when the campaign is over at the end of March and it gets funded or we reach our goal, then you would be charged for it. But tonight, if you go make a pledge, that helps us. It helps us in perception category, that people will see this and say, hey, a lot of people like this. This might be worth doing. So if you got a mind to do it, go give it a shot, and I would appreciate that. So surprising number of fart jokes in Rumi. Really? Sarah? I'm going to have to look at that. I think I missed those. So tonight, I wanted to shift gears now and talk about something. I've got a lot of notes here I'm going to refer to. I want to talk about something that used to be a really big topic in psychology, self-therapy and all of that. And I want to talk about this because it had a high point and then it dipped and people were like, oh, that again. I want to talk about self-esteem. And you go, oh boy, here we go. Self-esteem. Do I need to listen to the rest of this? Yeah, because this is different. It's a little different approach than you may have had when we've talked about, when you've heard about self-esteem. And it's certainly different than what we've talked about on the show, but it includes the spirit and the nature of the kinds of things that we've talked about. And I think you're going to enjoy this, and it's going to be really not just tonight. We're going to stretch this out a little bit and cover some of this over the next few nights. You know what I like doing with this show? We like to go into mini series, and we break away if we need to and go into something else. Or we start off the show with something else. That's what we're going to do tonight. But I'm thinking, where are we all right now after 2 years of weird pandemic stuff, after 2 years of feeling like you're getting nowhere, like you might be spinning your wheels? And I'm speaking general. This is not everybody. But in general, you might have that feeling like, oh man, because the rest of the world is falling apart around us, it seems. We may have World War III looming on the horizon. Even my own daughter, my own 10-year-old, came to me today and she had some post on her phone. She goes, somebody sent me this, and it said the UN hold on. She woke you up?
That her friend Annabelle sent
Oh.
From Fox News, she said.
Wow. I had Rainey, who's over there, has not been feeling good the last few days. As you heard her on Sunday, she had lost her voice completely. But so she took a little bit of time and took some good naps today, which she needed. Well, Rowan came into her first and woke her up. And I told all the kids, don't wake up your mom. Let her sleep. Leave her alone. Leave her be. But Rowan was all worried. She's got her phone and she says, this says Fox News says that the UN has is warning us that nuclear war is imminent. It's going to happen anytime now. Be prepared for it. And I said, let me see that. I said, I think I'd have heard about that if that had actually happened. And it was just a little white block with black letters and attributed to Fox News. There was no link. There was nothing. I looked at Fox News. I looked at the UN. I said, the best way to find out, let's go to the UN site. Nothing on the UN site about it. And so I said, that's somebody. There are stupid people out there that would like to take tidbits of information and put it out there. It's the same kind of people that go in and hack your websites, or the same people who sign you up for something, for Viagra or something, because they got your password. And, you know, those kinds of people, they got nothing better to do with their time, so they're out there doing things to other people. That's one of the things. And so Fox News did not put out a report and was not warning people about that. So she was all worried, though. The point I'm bringing up with that is everybody's a little bit on edge, even my 10-year-old, a little bit on edge about what's going on in the world today, what's going on in our country today. They don't understand politics. They don't understand elections and politicians, but they understand events that they hear about and are told, and they understand that this is something that makes me nervous. And so in a time where all this crap has been going on around us, pandemics, the pandemic, the invasion of Ukraine in the last couple of weeks now, all the different world events, elections, presidents, all of this stuff, without getting into politics. And you know, I could wax political in a moment's notice, but I will not, I promise. But what do we have developing? Anxieties, worries, concerns. Money's tight. Gas prices have shot through the ceiling. I had somebody from another country on my Facebook page say something about, wow, you Americans have it good, you know. What are you so worried about? We've been paying more than that for a liter for years. And I go, yeah, well, we don't live in your country. We've got a bigger country than your country. And these are the things that this is what we have built. And we have never been in this position before. It has never been higher. It has never gone up faster. And it ain't Putin's fault, to tell you the truth. This started a year ago. And so the problem we're all facing is looking at all of this stuff, worrying about our futures, worrying about where we're at. People who are prone to anxiety, like my own wife is prone to anxiety. And there's people I know that are prone to anxieties. What do you do with that? How do you build up yourself when you're scared to death to live? And so this is why I wanted to address this. Yeah, you're right, Matthew Sainsbury. Too much stress. That's right. Slightly slanted truth. Good to see you. Scotty, if it weren't Ukraine, it'd be something else. You're damn straight about that. Slanted. That's exactly it. And so, yeah, stay in their own lane, Leslie Holker. Exactly. So I wanted to hit for a little bit here tonight, a little bit about self-esteem, and maybe we'll carry this over because I want to look at it from a little different angle. Did you know that self-esteem is really the immune system of our consciousness? It's the thing that keeps us healthy, our self-esteem. And there's certain realities that we can't avoid. Well, one of them is the importance of self-esteem. And regardless of what we do or don't do, or what we admit or don't admit, we can't be indifferent to our self-evaluation. Remember, we say all the time when I'm talking about meditation, or I'm talking about being awake and being aware, I'm not always there. There's sometimes I'm bowled over by BS in life. There's sometimes that, I can be as crass as the next guy, or be as stupid as the next person, or mishandle my finances as bad as the next guy. But overall, when you're seeking to be awake and alive and active and understanding and being aware that you are awake, I'm not talking about woke. That's a stupid political thing. That's nonsense. I'm talking about being awake on a spiritual level. When you have that, it requires self-evaluation. You've got to look inward. You've got to see where you're at. You've got to see what you're made of. Because, we've heard the old, well, you can't be good to anybody else unless you're good to yourself, which is the basis for all the BS about, well, if you're not happy in your marriage, you should just dump it, or happy in your family or whatever. There are days here, where these kids get on my last nerve. We're trying to work. Rainy's trying to work. And you get tattling and fighting and all of this stuff going on around you. And sometimes you just snap and you're like, will you all shut up? Excuse me, I belched on air. How about that? I didn't know it was coming. So if you missed it, you're a loss. So all of this stuff builds up. And you're going to deal with things. You have to decide what's important. You have to decide how to advance without letting these little things. And I only bring all that up to say, I'm not perfect in any of this stuff. Being awake, being aware, and so on. That's where I want to be. That's what I strive to be. It's like, say being honorable, being a person of honor, being noble. Those are things we strive to do. So the same with this. So it takes self-evaluation. But you know what? Sometimes we end up running from this knowledge if it makes us uncomfortable. If we do self-evaluation and we see things that we fall short, we turn our blind eye on it and back out of it sometimes. We can shrug it off. We evade it. We declare that we're only interested in practical matters. And we escape into, football, baseball, TV, studies at school. Everything that we can come up with to be the thing that buries us and takes us away from having to do what we need to do for ourselves. So we shrug this stuff all off. We bury into the news, into politics. Some of us into the financial pages, or a shopping spree. How many of you spend money when you're stressed and you don't want to think about self? Or sexual adventures, or drinking, or drugs, or whatever it might be your thing. I'm going to go get high in the garage, because I'm going to go smoke it up because I just don't want to have to deal with this crap. But self-esteem, this is a fundamental human need. It's a need of ours. It's not just an extra thing. It's something our self-conscious needs, our consciousness needs, our self needs. It's a fundamental human need, and its impact requires neither our understanding nor our consent. It works its way within us, with or without our knowledge, our self-esteem. We don't even have to be aware it's going on. We just have to, for it to happen, I mean, but we need to be aware of it. And we're free to seek to grasp the dynamics of self-esteem or to remain unconscious to them. But in the latter case, remaining unconscious to them, we remain a mystery to ourselves. And we endure the consequences of living in that mystery. So, what I want us to do is take a look at the role that self-esteem plays in each and every one of our lives. Hey, Steve, good to see you, brother. And you're just on your farm where there's very little stress. That's good to know, brother. I'm glad you're here tonight. If it ain't for sale, it ain't good. It ain't no one buying, says Slightly Slanted Truth. And what's everybody say? Sarah says, much like in the paranormal, you choose what you allow into your life and how it's going to affect you. Exactly. Bingo. When I do paranormal work, I'm like, hey, those of you out there, spirits, whatever, I said, you can only come this far. You can talk to me. You can touch me if you need to. You can communicate with me in any way, but you can't possess me. You can't come into me. Blah, blah, blah. We all know that. 12 minutes, says Brianna. Is that all we got left? 12 minutes already? Wow. Because it's 9:56 and 25 seconds when we pass off air. Now, we can do an out, and we may stick around for a few more minutes if we need to tonight, or any night, any given night. That'll just go over to it will stay live on the YouTube channel. It'll just drop from being live on the radio station. So let's look at this. There's a preliminary definition. By self-esteem, I mean much more than that innate sense of self-worth that presumably is our human birthright. That's what everybody says. You gotta have a sense of self-worth. You've got to have your self-esteem built up and so on. But it means more than that. It's much more than that. That spark that psychotherapists and teachers seek to fan, they find that spark and come on, let's get it going. Let's throw some wood on that now. And they try to spark that and make it flame up. And that spark is only the anteroom to self-esteem, to self-worth. That's just the beginning. So self-esteem fully realized is the experience that we are appropriate to life and to the requirements of our life. And more specifically, self-esteem is this: confidence in our ability to think, confidence in our ability to cope with the basic challenges of life, and confidence in our right to be successful and happy. That's a right, And the feeling of being worthy, deserving, entitled to assert our own self into where we are and what we're doing, into our needs and our wants, to achieve our values and to enjoy the fruits of our effort. Now, I once heard Mike Rowe, who I admire a lot. You may know him from Dirty Jobs and some of the other things that he's done. He's very big at working with people. He's got a foundation put together to help people who want to go into trade work and go to a trade school or apprentice somewhere. He's big into that. And he's big into really building up yourself by doing that. And he's somebody who said, we don't all need to get what we deserve. There's that thing out there. You got to get what you deserve. Work to get what you deserve. And he said, we don't deserve nothing when it comes down to it. We get what we get because we work to get it. This is the same thing with self-esteem. We may deserve to be respected, that mutual respect. We may deserve to live a better life and have a goal for a better life. But really what it comes down to is we deserve what we work hard to get. So if you're going to work hard to make your life better, your self-esteem and all those, that's the thing you work toward. And your needs, your wants, the achieving of your values, enjoying the fruits of your efforts, that's all what we work for. That's all the stuff that's the basics to self-esteem. So I'm going to define more of those as we go on at another time. But I don't share the belief that self-esteem is a gift we have only to claim by reciting affirmations. Perhaps I am good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me. And I know we've said that before on this show. If you had 10 points to anybody, gold star if you know the source of that. Just look in the mirror and look into your own eyes and say, I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me. And so if you know where that's from, you get a gold star. So 1 minute left. No. We got time left. It's 9:46:05. I go out at 9:56:25. We got 10 minutes left of this show. So if you're all thinking it's time to go, it ain't. So yeah, we've got a few minutes left. We've got about 10 minutes to go here. So I don't share the belief that self-esteem is a gift that we have only to claim by reciting our affirmations or whatever BS somebody laid on us. So on the contrary, its possession over time represents an achievement. And the goal of what we're going to be talking about with all of this stuff on self-esteem is to examine the nature and the roots of that achievement. And by the way, when people are saying there's time, are you talking about time for this show or something? Did I miss something in the chat room? 56, Sarah. That's it. That's all it was. Yeah, I'll thank you for that, though. Keep reminding me, because sometimes you know what can happen? I can get to talking away, and I'll lose complete track of where I am, and I could talk right through the end of the show, and it'll just go off on the radio. It goes off automatically, but it's always nice to send people off. And then stick around if you want to hear a few minutes more. I just saw Paige. Paige, good to have you in the site, in the chat room tonight. Thanks for being here. She's over on the Facebook page. Thank you for being here tonight. And just seeing it's Pat, self-affirmation. There it is. And so the basic pattern is all of that stuff. It's what I want to talk about is going a little deeper than that. To trust, the deeper you go with learning what self-esteem is really all about, not the psychobabbly gobbledygook we've consumed for the last 20 years, but it's to trust one's mind. It's to trust your own mind. It's to know that you're worthy of happiness. You're worthy of those things. Those two things are the essence of self-esteem. To trust yourself, to trust your own mind. And the power of this conviction about oneself lies in the fact that it's more than a judgment or a feeling. It's not just I just feel so good about myself. That's not what it is. It's a motivator. It inspires our behavior. And so in turn, it's directly affected by how we act. Causation flows in both directions. There's a continuous feedback loop between our actions in the world and our self-esteem. How you act, how you treat the people around you, treat the people in your family, treat the people that you rub shoulders with every day at work or wherever you go, how you view the world, how you interact with the world and act out there every day. That's this continuous feedback loop. And the way we act out in the world is what is the basis for our self-esteem. The level of our self-esteem influences how we act. And how we act influences the level of our self-esteem. It's a symbiotic relationship there. And so, I've noticed when I get on edge and the kids get to me, I will yell at those kids like, whose effing kids are you anyway? Not my kid. You get that attitude. You're one of like, oh, if we were in a bar room, my 7-year-old, I'd punch you. But we're not, and we're not drinking. You know what I mean? You get that things that go on in your life, but how you act is going to be the kind of self-esteem you're building for yourself. And this is not something you learn it and you go, oh, okay, I got that now. See ya. It's a daily thing. It's a daily thing you have to keep examining and taking an inner look and trying to decide how you're going to make your life work. I have to do this every day. And sometimes it's depressing because you look at yourself and you go, I got to fix that. So the things about how we act really are what make our self-esteem. And our self-esteem comes from the way we act. So to trust on one's own mind and to know that one is worthy of happiness is the essence of self-esteem. And if I trust my mind and my judgment, I'm more likely to operate as a thinking being. Think. Put your mind out there. I think the difference between people who are awake, not woke, once again, woke is a completely different thing. People who are awake and are aware that they are awake, these are the people who operate on a basis of thinking about who they are and where they are and how they act, how their actions have manifest, and how they're supposed to act, how they should make changes. They think about life. They don't just act. It's like I like to compare it to, and pardon me for any couch potatoes out there, guys that go to work and they do their 8-hour shift and they come home and they sit with their hand down their pants watching TV, drinking a beer, meat and potatoes for dinner. The wife cooked up a great meal. The kids go to bed. You go to bed. You get up and do the same thing the next day. You go fishing on the weekend. And you check out. You check out of expanding who you are. Now, does somebody who does that have great self-esteem? Maybe there are some people who do that, and that's all they want out of life. But maybe there are a lot of people who do that because they don't think beyond their boundaries. If I trust my mind and judgment, I'm more likely to operate as a thinking human being and as somebody who thinks to make things happen in my life. Exercising my ability to think, bringing appropriate awareness to my own activities, my life works much better when I think about how and what I'm doing. It doesn't mean we make it necessarily, though it might lead to that. It doesn't mean, the tangible things versus the intangible is what I'm talking about. So this reinforces trust in my mind. If I distrust my own mind, I'm more likely to be mentally passive, to bring less awareness than I need to my activities. Well, I'm talking self-awareness of my own actions. And be less persistent in the face of difficulties. Start to fail a little bit in that area. When I distrust my own mind. And so when my actions lead to disappointing or painful results, what do? I feel justified in distrusting my own mind. Oh, I made a mistake. Man, I made an error in judgment. I'm effed. That's why I can't say that word on the radio show anymore. Sorry, I don't think I can anyway. Maybe I can. I just don't know for sure. I got to check in on that one. So, with high self-esteem, I am more likely to persist in the face of my difficulties. You got difficult crap going on? You can persist and move ahead. Me personally, I don't have the kind of anxieties that another person might have. So I'm able to try to conquer over that and move ahead, despite the fact that I got my own worries about things. Yeah, I worry about shit all day long. So With low self-esteem, I'm more likely to give up or to go through the motions of trying without really giving my best effort to make something happen. Oh, we're Eeyores, you know, Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh. Oh, it's just going to rain anyway. You know? So research shows that the high self-esteem subjects are going to persist at a task significantly longer than low self-esteem subjects. You know, we got about a little over a minute left. And so if I persevere, the likelihood is that I'm going to succeed more often than I fail. And if I don't, the likelihood is that I'm going to fail more often than I succeed. So either way, my view of myself is going to be reinforced, whether it's a good view or a bad view. And we're going to take up and talk some more about that maybe tomorrow night. Probably tomorrow night. Folks, I want to thank you all for being here. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you giving me your time. Now I want you to go to our Kickstarter and get yourself a book. And so we got about 25 seconds and we're out. So what we're going to do our little out and our little out music. And if you want to stick around on the chat room, I'll be here for a few more minutes. And we'll take it from there. So folks, thanks for being here. And you know what? Live long and prosper.
You're listening to the Intrepid radio program with Scotty Roberts. Intelligent Talk.
All right, guess what? We're still here, but we're off radio. So I want to thank you all for coming in. This was our first night of the relaunch. And I hope, hey, Doug Stack, I don't think I saw you there. I'll be here for 2 more minutes, he said. And thanks for coming in. Carly Sagan, good to see you. She says, sorry I haven't been able to watch or chat. Love you all. Good to see you, Carly. And David Castle is here. I didn't see you earlier. Welcome. Glad you made it in here. Doug's here, he says. So David Castle, greetings in favor to Michelle Canham Free, sending love and healing energy. Let's see. Jumps around a little bit here as a new comment comes in, so I lose my place. Eeyore was my fave, says Paige. Yeah, I love the Winnie the Pooh stuff. There's something about that. Those old tales that have a little heartstring to them. The original. I don't like the new reincarnations of that stuff. We need a special name for these little after-show sessions. Yeah, we do, Robert or Roger. What do you think? Hey, I'm going to unplug my headset because I just don't like having it in, and I only have it in for the radio. So there we go. Oh, I'm echoing back, and I don't know why. Oh, you know what? I got to end the. I didn't end the thing fast enough. I got to turn the button off for the radio. Now, I'm not broadcasting. But my being on, even though it's not picking up the show anymore, I could prevent the next person from being able to hook up. So glad I remembered that before it got too long. The echo made me think of that because we're getting the feedback from that. So, hey, Morgan Snow. Good to see you. Yeah, that's what she said Brianna. Very nice. If you're talking to me. Or is it to Roger Rabbit? She's Stack lurking is my thing, but I guess we can share. That's what she said, says Brianna. Hey, Michelle Canham Free. Good to see you. McFreedom. So how is everybody today? Now that the show's over. Everybody happy today? Did your day go well for you? Now that we're at the end of the show and we're talking about that. You know, we can take calls during the show too. If anybody feels like calling in, even now. There you go. There it is. That's the StreamYard link that gets you right in here if you want to talk. Got a few minutes to make good on that if you want to do it. So let's see, an error occurred. Odyssey Radio. Wait a minute, then try again. What's that from? Oh, that just means it wouldn't post over on the Odyssey Facebook. I don't know if everybody else sees that. I see that. An error occurred. I can't paste a comment over to the Odyssey and it's picking it up because we're broadcasting to both, but one is turned off now. So Matthew Sainsbury's day wasn't bad. How can it be bad? You live in paradise down there. Barbados. Little turquoise water. Neil Parkinson, it's amazing. He says, I've been part of another group since you left and we're reborn. A thought, we never will understand where we are and where we're going until we're fully understand where we've been. Man, I agree with you, Niall. I agree with you 100%. Good to see you, brother. Glad you're here. Thank you, Michelle Canham-Free. You're a sight for sore eyes. Oh, Captain, my Captain. Does anybody know where that reference is from? Oh, Captain, my Captain. What did that come from? Do you remember? I first saw that in an old movie. Oh, Captain, my Captain. When I was a kid. Oh, Captain, my Captain. So it was a Spencer Tracy movie. Captain's Courageous was the name of the book and the movie. Brianna says, I'm off to bed. We're exhausted. All right, you guys, Brianna and John, you guys have a good night. Thanks for being here. It's good to see you, at least in the chat room. We'll see you again soon. Brianna says, Stone Age? Yeah, way back. Black and white movies. Back when the world was black and white. So, Morgan Snow, it's good to have you here. And blah, blah, blah. I'm looking at what everybody's saying. I think a little show after show time would be called Captain's Quarters. Oh, I like that. A little after time show would be Captain's Trousers. Hey, Rainey. Hi. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? No, how you doing? So she's sitting over there at her desk. One of these days I'll have this set up so we can swivel it around fully and you can see everything going on in here. How come you're awake at 10 o'clock at night? You're going to school tomorrow.
No,
you know that?
not.
Oh, yeah.
I was in bed laying down when you started your show, so you probably should have been in charge.
I probably should have, except I looked at the clock and went, oh, my God, it's too late.
And I don't know why spring break couldn't have started this week.
Yeah, really.
Spring break!
Get used to all the
Captain's Trousers, say when.
time.
Oh, say what? Carly, I thought you said say when. I'm like, shh, Roger's in the room. Let's see. Hello, small human, says Field Guy, talking to you. Tiny.
Tell them what's up.
Say, what's up? Say, what's up down there in New Orleans? Nolans.
I don't like guys
That's a good thing.
or fields.
He's Field Guy. Field Guy. Smarty pants. So, she doesn't know what she's saying. Yeah, sorry, Carly. I don't have my glasses on. I see what I see. Let's see. There's Barbie D. Good to see you, Barbie D. Glad you're here. We're not going to do much tonight. We're not going to stick around too long. It's just nice that to know that over on that YouTube channel, once we get off the official show, we can...
I have a crop top on.
Well, la-di-da for your crop top. What's good with a crop top?
See?
Yeah, I see your belly button. You know what belly buttons are good for?
No.
Biting.
biting and wet willies. And
You bite me, I'll bite your nose.
oh, you think so? She hangs around her mom too much, smart ass. Smarty pants. So, hey, don't do that, please.
Bouncing.
Yeah, but don't. That annoys the hell out of me. So don't do it. She just stuck a baseball in her pants. And has a big bulge. And she goes, I got a big Petey. So there you go. I don't know who's teaching these kids that stuff, Ma.
I don't talk about peonies. I talk about penises.
Oh, there you go. Mom talks about penises, not peonies. There you go. Kinsey's a sarcastic smarty pants too. They sure would get along. Hell yeah.
Are you done eating?
Who? Rainy? Sounds serious? She's serious. So,
Go get your stuff put away. Get ready for school tomorrow. It's bedtime.
Scotty, I'm trying to text Rainy, but it won't send it. Oh,
Phone shut off.
her phone shut off. We have those straight talk phones. And you don't always get a warning, and all of a sudden you're going, I've been trying to make a call, or no, I haven't received any calls today. I wonder what's going on. She realized it didn't take the payment out of the right card. It had to be a different card, so she's got to make the payment.
No, it's not making a payment.
Oh, it's
I have a
not?
sheet, and I'm not going to sign up for the thing and lose the $10. I wait until I can drive my ass to Walmart and buy the two.
Right. My wife's a cheapskate, a skinflint. She is not going to just sign up online to have the automatic thing like I do with my phone. She drives to Walmart and buys the card because it saves her $10. Is it $10?
It saves more than $10. It saves $20.
Okay, so there you go. That's why you can't get a hold of her. You know where you can, because Rainy's cheap. She's cheap as shit. Brianna, just text her on Facebook Messenger. Send her a message on Facebook Messenger. She can get that. She can even get that when her phone's off because it hooks up to our internet. So, yeah, she said to me this afternoon, she's been sick for a few days. She's not paying close attention. But she said, I haven't got any call. They call me and see if it gets through. So there you go.
I was trying to send out text messages today because there was no way I was going to do my den leader stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And vomit all over kids.
Yeah, that would be fun, though.
Last year
It'd be
I
like
almost
you could-
cut my finger off.
What?
Last year I almost cut my finger off.
Almost doesn't count when it comes to cutting off fingers and doing your taxes. So, Walmart is down the street. I walk, says Field Guy.
I've watched
Steve Clark, but Rainy wastes gas going to Walmart.
I have to go to Walmart like every other day for
The first
I
time
know.
Emily babysitted us, we walked to Walmart.
That was in the other house, and we were closer to Walmart. But
We still walked.
well, we're like 12 miles from there now. But I don't know what I was going to say there. Oh, gas price. If you're trying to save price on gas, does driving to Walmart to get the card instead of doing it online save you any money these days? So
I'm coming over here, even though I
Oh,
look like shit.
there's my beautiful wife. There you are.
I don't have the right clothes on.
Put your hands down.
You see my makeup? My makeup smeared while I was vomiting in the sink.
Nice,
eyes
nice.
It was great.
Let me turn it so you
But
can get here.
anyways, we seriously go to Walmart probably every few days because we're constantly needing groceries. These kids eat everything. So it's good that I saved the $20 and buying the card at Walmart, or my kids would have $20 less food to eat.
Hey, Amanda.
Hey.
Good to see you down under. So,
Yeah.
hi, Rainy, says everybody.
Hi.
Or somebody. Barbie D.
I don't know that I can read yet.
There's Niall. Boy.
What really stinks is I'm not quite sure if I had a migraine that made me sick today or if it was Flynn's bug that he brought home on Friday.
These glasses suck. My eyes are
Dang
getting
kids.
sucky and suckier.
And well, you're old. What do you think happened?
I'm not that old. I'm not
Yeah,
like
you are.
elderly or
Yeah,
anything.
when you're over
and-
the hill. You're past that 50 mark.
but I'm still vital.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Only to us.
Who's us?
Me and the kids.
Oh.
If you go away, the bills don't get paid.
Well, there you go. I'm worth something, I guess.
Yeah. Shut up, Peanut Gallery.
So
I've got
feel better,
Rowan's
says sorry,
robe
Carly
on.
Sagan. I see that. This is the,
Oh, wow.
if I may be so affectionately and say so, the little, I think I mentioned it the other day, the little COCK blocker.
Who?
Huh?
Hey.
You.
Yeah, I spelled Ellery.
What?
ELLERY.
No, he didn't say that.
This is like almost 24/7. So
You have crust in your hair.
Ew.
no, that's where I wet my hair and let it dry that way. Now feel it. See?
Ew, it's crusty
Shut
angry.
up.
Crusty angry.
Well,
Whoa.
I hope you're enjoying this, folks.
Right?
Yeah,
Robert's family time.
that's right.
Just so you know, our
Where's
kids
Rowan and Flynn?
did
Huh?
not go to sleep, I don't think, until
Midnight.
11 o'clock or midnight last
It was
night.
midnight when I finally said to Flynn. Well, Flynn was making a
Flynn
pie.
didn't go to bed until 1
He had to make a pie from scratch for school,
for the pie contest.
the pie contest.
Because it was pie day today.
It was. I know. I posted about that. Rainey told me it's pie day,
Ellie,
and I'm like, woo, pie day.
He's got a picture of his pie.
So, so they made a pie, and she helped him, and she finally dropped off at about 11 o'clock last night. You can't die, Scotty. Not permitted. Thank you, Niall.
Right?
I'm gonna do my best.
Not until we can afford a life insurance policy.
Yeah.
Die.
We need $1 million life insurance
Next,
policy
give a
for me
picture
to
of your pie.
die. And so far, they're
Let's see.
denying me. So,
Don't
but
I have a robe on. And I'm naked under this.
oh boy,
Let's see. Turn this way.
she heard that from her mom. Rainey came over here one day and said, "I've got my robe on," and she said, "And I'm naked underneath." Somebody was listening. Hey, Chuck Banks, good to see you. We're done with the show officially, Chuck. If you're wondering, the official portion is over, and we're just hanging
Ding
now.
dong.
Now it's family time. Now we hang out.
Sweetheart, stop
Yeah,
shoving
go to
your way
bed.
in.
Jesus,
What are you
child.
doing up so late? It's time for you to be in bed.
Excuse me, nah.
Yeah, huh?
All right.
Go tell your sister
She'll be going to bed very soon.
Go tell your sister to come please.
I've missed you all a lot, says Michelle Canham Free. Missed you too, Michelle.
Was the pie crust good?
Oh, you listen. Thanks, Chuck. Yeah, the pie was actually good
The
that
crust?
Flynn made.
No,
The crust was good.
Whoever ate that didn't like the crust.
That's mine. Oh, I didn't get a chance.
Oh.
I looked at the clock and said, "Oh, it's radio time." Flynn made a cherry pie last night. She's my cherry pie. So,
Yeah, Dad, shush it.
you shush it, child.
You shush it,
Will
child.
unleash the wrath of the father.
Oh my goodness.
So you had pie as well, Chuck said.
I
It
didn't
was-
have pie.
It was pie day. How
I
come
bought
you're up?
stuff to make a pie, but I seriously was sick today.
It's bedtime.
Just when I thought my laryngitis
It's like
was
way
taking
pa-
over.
I don't have a bedtime. I'm the dad.
All right. I'm gonna go beat my kids.
I'm the mom. I can stay up as
You go
late
with
as
mom.
I
You go with
want.
mom. Mom's putting you to bed. Go.
No.
Go. Fun is fun. It's time. Let's go. Go.
Hi,
Go do
I'm
what your mom said.
Scotty Roberts.
Go to bed.
I like to do
Bye.
radio
See
shows
ya.
for people who
Goodbye.
don't care.
Ciao. Arrivederci.
Hi, I'm Scotty Roberts.
Good night.
69. And
Good
I
night.
young people that I call Ellery in the
I'm being nice because we're on radio.
Yeah.
I could put it on mute. Go do what mom and dad asked you to now.
Yeah.
Hey, go do? Hi. You want to come live here? I think I need a second wife. But then again, I don't know if I can handle a second wife. Never mind. I told Rainey, I said, I've got, I've got a second wife all picked out. I even, she could come and she could do, be our nanny, and she could be our maid and do stuff for us. And I've even got her uniform picked out. And Rainey didn't buy it. So she didn't go for it. Anyway. So that's why we have gray hair. You're telling me, Chuck. Why do you think my hair is so white? Well, because I'm old, but the other reasons. My children. So Amanda, don't be mean, Scotty. I'm not being mean. It. Shut up there. I showed her who's boss. So, I forgot what I was going to say. That is why we have gray hair. Yeah. Oh, don't be mean. Says Amanda. I'm not mean, but there is a point. I will tell you this. There is a point with my children where somewhere along the way, they seem to have developed some sense that there is no repercussion for actions. Not because they don't get it. I said to Rainey the other night, we're musing, and I said, do we just not pay enough attention to our kids, and they're screaming for help any way they can? They're trying to get our attention by being naughty? No, that's not it. We decided. Mom should not have to tell you more than one time what you need to do.
The garage door is not shut. It'll look shut, but it's still open about this much, and I don't want to go mess with it. So
I think I know what it is. Somebody pulled the two-wheeler out.
I'm leaving it up to you to fix.
I'll fix it when I'm done here.
Make sure it actually, I'm telling you now before I forget, make sure it actually goes all the way down, because it starts to go down.
I know what you're talking about.
But then
I've seen it happen.
It's like this far, and then it goes.
Yeah. I got it.
Oh my God.
There's something in the door.
Go to bed.
I'm a guy. I know how garage doors work.
Oh, you don't.
So it's all good, and they get smarter. Yeah, that's true, Amanda. They do. Flynn is kind of on his own, and he does his own thing and stays away from everybody, and they bug him, and he loses his shit. So it's the way it works around here. Nice glass of warm milk should help her sleep. Yeah, Matthew, I think a nice, with a teaspoonful of bourbon in it. That'll put her to sleep. Clever and whatever is usually works on the stress strings. Funny to watch, says Amanda. Yeah, and it's not all that bad around here. It's just our kids are getting to that stage where they're testing their boundaries. And we all know about that. If you're a parent, we all know what that's about. We've been there. And I've been there before. And kids want to test their boundaries. They want to see how far they can get with you. Well, my answer to your request is no. I'm like, what? It's what? No. You want to try one more time? Well, I'm saying no on the inside. And it's like you don't want to force. I hate forcing my kids to do my bidding or my will, even though it's good for them. I hate the forcing. I want them to voluntarily go, well, yes, Father, of course we'll do that. So, hey, son. What's that? Is that yours? Oh, that's your picture? There's the picture of Flynn's cherry pie that he made for school today. Look at that. It looks like it's out of Gourmet. Go away now. I'm done with that. There you go. Sorry about that, folks. They start to take liberties like that. Here you go, Flynn. That looks great. It tasted great. So, hey, Iowa X, you know what's up? You're late. The show ended about 20 minutes ago. We're just hanging out. The pie looks good. It was very good, Steve. Like I say, I didn't get a chance to finish it before the show, my piece, but there it was. So, he didn't go out and hand pick the cherries and hand pit them and, do anything like that. It's canned cherry filling with cherries and stuff in it. But he made the dough. He did that with Rainey, rolled out the dough and made his pie crust from scratch. I thought that was pretty impressive. So he did a good job. Yes, man, it was a great job. And Carly Sagan knows what's up. And bingo, negative, no. I don't know what that was for, from Amanda. Bit of cocoa and ginger in warm milk, says Susie Q. Cocoa and ginger in warm milk. It's like gingery chocolate milk. Awesome effort. Oh, man, really? Some of you, great job to do. Yeah, Flynn did do a great job. You're a Puritan, Scotty. You ask the questions that have already been answered. I do that. I do. You know why? Because I think there's a lot of people that, even though all these questions have been answered, a lot of people still don't get it. I don't get it sometimes. I have to keep asking the same question. Going, what am I doing? Why am I doing this way? Matthew Sainsbury, go to bed. Get some rest. You're an hour ahead of me, I think. And so it's already 11:20 your time, I believe, out there in the far western reaches of the Virgin Islands in Barbados. So you have a good night over there in a little slice of paradise. You and the Pirates of the Caribbean. Arr. So let's see. What else is going on in here? Goodness, I've missed this so much. Thank you, Scott. Carly, thank you. No, thank you. No. Thank you. Stop now. Thank you. So, let's see. What else we got going on? Who's talking over there? Iowa X, the question is how to make the perfect pie. I know how to make the perfect pie. So, what's your favorite pie? Flynn made cherry pie last night. I like blueberry pie. I love pecan pie. Pecan pie. Niall, do you have pecan pie over there in Ireland? Just curious if it's a thing over there. Pecan pie. That reminds me of, some people like apple pie. Others like cherry pie. Some prefer blueberry, while others like pecan. It reminds me of that. There was a cut scene from the movie Spartacus, the original, I think, 1957 version of Spartacus with Kirk Douglas playing Spartacus, and you had Sir Laurence Olivier playing Crassus, and some other big names. Tony Curtis playing the Roman slave. Isn't that where the whole mocking line came? Tony Curtis playing a Roman slave. I come from my father's castle over yonder. Tony Curtis, the father to Jamie Lee Curtis with Vivian Lee. So buttermilk pie. But it reminds me of a scene from that was cut from the original movie. And it came out a few years back. They showed nowadays they wouldn't have a problem with this scene. But you've got Sir Laurence Olivier playing Crassus, great general and politician in ancient Rome. And you've got Tony Curtis playing Antoninus. How appropriate for his name, Antoninus. and he's a slave. And there's a scene in the heated, it's not a hot tub, the hot tub. Nah, 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 nah. Hot tub, it's hot. Old Eddie Murphy bit. But he's in his heated bath, and Tony Curtis's slave, is pouring warm water over him, bathing him. And it's a nighttime scene, and Crassus says to Tony Curtis, "So, there are some men who like clams, yet there are other men who prefer oysters. Which is it, are you, Antoninus? Do you prefer clams or oysters?" And that scene was cut because it was considered to be overtly homosexual for 1957. So, which was fairly Roman, is all that was. Flynn, did you need me for something? I'm not doing radio. We're just in the afterglow. You looking for what? Oh, it was right here. Why are you still up?
She's a fart hole. Go to bed.
Go to bed. Go do what Mom says. Good night. I love you. Come here. Come here. You what?
Don't feel good.
You know how you feel better? You go lay down. It's 10:30 at night. Good night. You have to get up at 7 o'clock for school. And you're up 2 hours past your bedtime. Go. Good night. I love you. See ya. I tried going to bed and it doesn't work. Okay, you go in and lay down then. That's all you need to do. I don't care if you don't fall asleep, but you need to go to your bed. I will get up and assist you if you need my help making it there. So, guys, there you go. Rather pathetic. I don't have knowledge on pies other than meat, says Amanda. LOL. Cheesecake shop. Do they do pies? Do they do pies? They might. So there is so much innuendo buried in all this stuff that let's see. I say this as Niall. I've been reading the extensive notes of the 1692 Salem trials. The ministers, pastors, judges, and mediators always ask a witch why she became a witch as the first question. So, why did you become a witch? It's like, I'm not a witch. I told you, I'm not a witch. That didn't get you anywhere, though. Yeah, I'll escort your face to your pillow. Good night. Exactly, Roger Rabbit. Tag team it, says Carly. She likes that attention. She likes to fight. This is remember, we gave birth to the undisputed queen of the universe. So we're trying to mold her a little better. I don't ride no broomstick, says Amanda. Well, not you. You're a 7-year-old heading for bed. Do I need to pause this and let people talk amongst themselves while I help you get to bed? Yeah, she is at the moment. Need to hurry up. All right. Didn't Scots have meat pies? Yeah, they did. I'll have to get some of those recipes too. Yeah, there's some good stuff. Only 10:30. Do not go to bed till 2 or so, says Iowa X. Now, my 7-year-old's got to go to bed. So, or you're talking, you don't go to bed till 2. So, hey, quiet. Nobody is speaking to you right now, baby. You're done for the night. I don't want to hear a word. You're done. When you're done in there, go to your bedroom. All right. So, Niall says, I think that pie you mentioned is steak and kidney pie. And that would taste good right now, I think. Steak and kidney pie. I like a good shepherd's pie. Might make some of that around here. You make the fixins and put it in, then do the mashed potato thing and spread it over the top and bake it. That might be kind of fun. Minced tomatoes and onions. See, now that sounds really good. A minced tomato and onion pie. Amanda. Kinsey's still trying to run the show tonight, too. That's the way it goes. What's with these brats? Anyway. I don't really think that. If I did, I wouldn't say it. I'd be hiding it. Paige, shepherd's pie. Yeah, yummy. Ain't that the truth? I love a good shepherd's pie. And I used to go all the time to Kieran's Irish Pub in Minneapolis, downtown Minneapolis. And they had the best shepherd's pie. It was run by Kieran Folliard. An immigrant from immigrant is probably the wrong word. He just came to America, and he's been here for years, 40 years maybe. No, he's not a pirate. So a beef and beer pie, yeah, that might be good. I don't always like the taste of beer cooked into my food. When I was a teenager, my mom was dating a guy, and he used beer to cook, and I was like, I didn't like the taste of it, and it's turned me off. Now I'll use sometimes I'll put a little alcohol into food, but not very often. He really turned me off on that with his beer stuff. Chili is good, Steve. Yeah, you're good at chili. You make chili. I remember last year, year before, you were making chili and sending out containers of it to people. Beer and prawns. Best on. Yeah, now that's good. Drinking beer while you're barbecuing prawns. That sounds really good. Beer can is all you need. And shrimp. Or prawns. So, fondue. Michelle Cannon Free likes fondue. I haven't done fondue in years. 30 or more years, probably, since I had fondue. So, Iowa X likes gremlins. So you cook them up. Miner's pies wrapped in a towel and in your lunchbox. Yeah. Your lunchbox. You got a tin lunchbox? I got a lunchbox. I got one collector's lunchbox down here. I'll show you. I used to collect these. They're all gone. Oh, there's something in here that's really heavy. This is one of my lunch boxes. I got my Hellboy lunchbox. Look at that. And it's got a dent in it. It got dented along the way. Look at that down at the bottom of the front. But there's the back side. Hellboy. Mike Mignola's Hellboy. Or Mignola, I guess. Look at the dust on that. So that's my one lunchbox anyway. Used to have old ones. Tin cases in good nick. Yeah. So awesome, says Paige. We got a cowboy one upstairs. Oh, look what's in here. No. Junk. This is my I forgot that was in there. That is a pink Moonstone. This is from Egypt. I took this from a mountaintop in Egypt. This stuff was laying all over the place. This used to be, it's a quartzy type of stuff, and I couldn't tell you exactly what it's composed of. Looks kind of naughty from certain angles, but you get this wet, and it's a very pink. They used to use this for rituals and ceremonies. This is religious. And I found this big old piece of it on a mountaintop, along with other artifacts from the mountaintop. I don't know if I've got them here, sitting here or not. Also got in. Well, I do have a bunch of quartz in here. Look at that. That's why the lunchbox was so heavy. These big old gnarly pieces of quartz in here. Look at these. that. What else I got in here? It's a rock. This might be a fossil. I don't know. I don't know why that's in there. A kid put that in there, maybe. I don't know if this is a fossil or not.
I was going to say, I'm still missing that little white fossil I found last year.
I've got Scottish thistle. 10 Seconds of Harmony. Remember I told you the group I was part of back in the early 2000s? That was us. Right there. That's me. Where am I in that picture? Oh, I'm way over on the far right, if you're looking at that. And there's a rabbit's foot in here. I don't know how this stuff gets in here. Oh. Look what else is in here with all my collectible stuff. Piece of sandpaper. The sandpaper? That's where that went, Rainey said. There's some kind of necklace in here. There's a pocket watch that doesn't work with no crystal on it. Wow, this is fascinating radio, isn't it? This is a little, is that a Tudor rose? I didn't get a good look at it. No, it's just a rose. A little hook. I don't know what that's for. A little hook on it. Maybe a clasp for something. Why it's in here, I don't know. Why it's in my Hellboy lunchbox, I don't know. So that's about all that's in there. A couple of broken things. I know. Not fascinating radio, but there you go. But we're not doing radio right now, are we? This is the after show. The captain's cabin. Arr. Come on down to the captain's cabin. And so there you go. My Hellboy lunchbox. Not going to work it back into its position over there on the shelf. So what else we got going on? Anything? I'm just wasting time right now. I have to go up and read your comments. Uh-oh, what'd I miss? Let's see. What did I miss? Let's see. There's Paige. Pink, wet, and naughty. That's right, Paige. Pink, wet, and naughty. You get it wet and it's very pink, says Roger. I knew as soon as I said that, somebody was going to pick up on that. Bunch of naughty people. So, what do we got here? What do we got? Love Chili. This is Paige. Amanda, they got big at auctions. Don't know what you're talking about there. Amanda, interesting. Now I want to try and learn about these meat pies. I don't have the Star Trek lunchbox, Iowa X, sad to say. Tried to buy one once and I was outbid. Cherry liqueur ruins it, says Michelle Canham Free. $3,000 in cash. Are you talking about for a lunchbox? Did I miss something? Yeah, I found an old stash. I wish, Steve. It was just junk. Well, junk and rocks. An Egyptian thing in there. So, let's see. Amanda says, just go get a pastry and pie tin and make a stew. Slow cooked meat with sauce and fill the pie. Yeah. It's I could do pie. I did a big meat pie here once. Meat and it had all these different sausages and cheeses and things in it. It was all right. It was like a gooey lasagna in a doughy or in a pie shell. So let's see. I'm just looking through your comments, guys. Roger Rabbit, you get it wet and it gets very pink. Boom. How cool, Scotty. Crystals are very powerful. Yes, they are, Carly. Wet pink and field guy pitches in. Wet pink, what is this? Get it wet and it gets very pink, says Iowa. Reiterating the point. pink, wet, and naughty, says Paige. Let's see. Matthew Sainsbury says, you have a picture of the guy in the background that looks like the actor Hans Matheson. He played an Emperor Nero and the Christmas Candle and 300 Return of the Persia. I don't know. No, that's actually the guy back there. That's a drawing my daughter Bryn did for me about 6-7 years ago. And it's a hand-drawn pencil. Niall, you would appreciate the art. But it's of Sean Astin playing Samwise Gamgees and Frodo Baggins from Lord of the Rings. And that's a picture that she did for me for Christmas several years ago. Not several, 5-6 years ago, something like that. So now it hangs there. And it's all hand-drawn. She's an extraordinary artist. So, crazy rock collectors we are. Isn't it weird? A good rock and a good stick makes us happy. Yeah. What do you think, Rainey? A good rock and a good stick makes you happy. Totes, she said. Totes.
I actually said totally.
Oh, you said totally? Let's see. Facebook be locked, Michelle. Get it wet and it's very pink. Carly Sagan repeats. The captain's cabin. I went into the captain's cabin as a cabin boy, and I emerged cabin man. R. Let's see. And of course, we used to have all the stupid jokes from the Renaissance Festival days. Just stuff in passing on the street. Sailor talk. Captain said, climb the mizzenmast. I says, how can I climb it if it's mizzen? Boom. Ching. Clean your washing machines. There's a pocket where coins and money slip into. I get a few notes each time. Aye. Nice, Amanda. I find quarters around here all the time. I don't know where they're coming from, Rainey, but I walk around this house upstairs and downstairs every day. I'm like, oh, quarter. Shove it in my pocket. What? Maybe your grandma's leaving me quarters. That might be. I'm serious. I'm finding them. I find them everywhere. Sometimes in the same spot the next day. So, there was one right over there. Last week, I picked one up and I went, oh, quarter. It's probably Rainey's. Mine now. And I shoved it in my pocket. And the next morning, there was a quarter right there again. I put it in my pocket. So, love y'all, says Susie Q. Love you too, Susie. Good to have you here. Matey, says Carly Sagan. That's where my quarters keep disappearing to, says Field Guy. That's it. Port is red and left. Starboard's to the right, port's in my glass. Side of the boat and starboard is green. Ship off the port bow. Would that be red or green? I don't like white wine, but I like a good goblet of port. I like port. I haven't had port for a long time. Yep, Amanda, look at us. We're not really doing anything. I'm just reading your comments. Boom, boom. Somebody messaged me up here. What is that? Oh, thank you. Wife messaged me.
Your wife did not call. Yeah, your wife did not.
Oh, that wasn't you?
That was me. I sent you a link to look at for later.
I had to blow up the picture to see. Oh, that's not you.
It's a link to do a printer settings for your Mac.
I saw the title of it. And oh, cool. That's good. Let's see. And you know, I'm not necessarily out of steam. I just got nothing left to talk about tonight. I'm just reading your comments, and we're kind of going with it. So, austerely like quarters at the moment. Separate quarters to each state. Oh, that's that's what it is here too. They got their own little imprint on the back for the different states. So, and you know what? Probably going to wrap it up, folks. It's nice just sitting here doing nothing with y'all. If somebody called in, you know, it might be kind of fun, but since nobody's calling in, my child is still awake. Hear her through the door.
She's got some nasty diarrhea.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So,
Yeah, baby.
I like that port wine cheese spread with crackers. Yeah. I like a good tawny port. All right, guys. So, there it is. That's all we got. This was just an extension after the show, just to chit-chat a little bit, have fun. Because I'm not doing anything else at the moment, and I don't feel like doing anything else. I'm kind of tired. I might hit the bed a little early tonight. So, your child will do the show. There you go. Yeah, she will. There you have it. Yep. Child, that's you. I'm the child? Okay. That's how this is going to go this evening. So that was fun. Thanks, Scotty. You're welcome, Roger. Thanks for being here, brother. It's good to have you all back. It's fun to be doing this show. We're only doing an hour for right now, and I don't plan on expanding it to more time than that for the present, because I don't want to take that much prep time with it. It's if it was earning me money, I'm just ignoring what's going on over there. So if you can't tell, I don't know if you can hear that or not on my directional mic. Yeah. I'm ignoring so it goes away. And well, as soon as I hang up here, it's going to be bedtime for her in a big way. Let's see. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you. Good to see you again, too, by the way. So, all right, everybody. Thanks for being here. Paige, Carly, Matthew.
He's the child.
Okay, shush now. You're way too loud.
He's the child.
Hey, there's something you're not doing what you've been asked to do, and you need to do that. I don't want it to get mean or nasty or be angry, but I will if you do not do. You can't say the things on air that you normally would say. You can't act that way. You're seeing about the worst of it, but that's what we got going on here with that one. And I see a lot of people go, well, you just don't do a good job over it. I can tell you how to take care of it. No, you can't. No, you can't. You think we don't know what to do and how to do, and you'd be wrong if you made that assumption. This one's just a handful. So she's not retarded or anything, but is that a bad word? And she's not, she doesn't have any kind of mental deficiency or anything, meaning like she can't connect with reality or something like that. There's nothing like that going on. She's very strong-willed. So much love, positive vibes to you, Scotty, and everyone there. Thank you, Carly, and the same to you. And yeah, you did that over an iPad last night with Reef. Yep, I get it. Yeah, we've been there. Something very similar at times. where our children developed the notion that it is okay to yell at their parents is beyond me. And, there's things you can do, obviously. And we'll talk about this maybe on a show some night, but there's things you can do. There are also bad reactions to those things. And I got to act like it doesn't get my attention. So, yeah, she's 7. So, literally had to lock myself in the bathroom and breathe. Randy, does that sound familiar? That's Amanda. Had to lock myself in the bathroom and breathe. Yeah, that's rainy some days around here. It's this one is constant. The other 2 are in bed already. Hey, go to bed.
Are you done? Can we go to bed yet?
Stun gun. Yeah. Hey. It's good. That's a good idea. Chloroform in a cloth. Sing a Sound of Music song. I'll do that someday. So, there's a couple of good songs from Sound of Music I'll sing my kids.
I like the one when he says the woman dies.
What song is that?
And then you say the woman dies.
The Woman Dies is part of the song?
Yeah.
I don't know what song you're talking about.
Yeah, you do, liar.
Excuse me? I have to handle some things here pretty quick. Anyway, there you go. You're seeing it firsthand. There's nothing edited here, and we edit this up, it would make a good reality show of some kind for somebody. Yep. Yeah, you heard that. Oh, dear. Yep, that's what goes on. So maybe all our kids together would be a miracle silence, says Amanda. We can manifest that. I will Amazon you a cattle prod. Rainy's got one. The only problem is you use it, you could probably kill somebody with it. So it's not for fun and games. But yeah, there was an old lady who swallowed a fly, says Pate. There it was. There it is. So I guess she'll die. See, handling this doesn't happen on the spot. It's something that needs to be... 7-year-olds don't take lectures well. But the kind of action it would take to end this right now would not be suitable for radio. And why she thinks she can get away with it, I don't know. Because she never does for long. So there's something going on there. Thank you, Carly. It's not unmanageable. It's just, it's frustrating when you're in the middle of it. And by now, see, I can just turn this off and I can handle it. But we're talking here. So usually by now, long before this point, there would be me standing up, taking a wrist, leading that young child kicking and screaming to where I told them to go. Probably the use of corporal punishment if necessary, depending on how willful and nasty it gets. I blame some of this literally on, and I'm not a big person on this stuff. I blame some of this, a lot of this on the stuff they sneak to watch. TikTok or whatever. They're not allowed to watch those things, but we keep finding them. They get their phones taken away. The little one doesn't have a phone. 10-year-old does. The 12-year-old does. You got a mate. We love you and family. Thank you. Thank you, Amanda. Yeah, you know what it's like. All of you know that if you're parents. So there's things that you can do. There's things you don't do when you're sitting publicly talking to people. Now, Rainey just took her in there and they went over into the bathroom and the door is shut. Now, Mom's voice is a little elevated, not raised, just elevated. So the child, because I do radio, the child will sneak up and knows she can get away with certain things while I'm talking on the radio. So we have to take care of those things after the radio. And we hopefully one of these days that'll all stick. So the sound of the prod to encourage her. All I usually have to do is say, all right, that's it. I said, go get me a wooden spoon from the kitchen or something like that. I used to have a great ping pong paddle that was great for spanking naughty kids. I'm not big on spanking, but I'm not against it in its right place. So it'll stick one day. I don't even have to hope about that, Carly. It'll stick. It's stuck with my older kids. Sticking with Flynn. You know, Flynn's just going through puberty now, so he's struggling on all fronts. Ay. So you broke so many wooden spoons, but I realized I ran fast. Very nice. So anyway, that's all. That's all I'm going to do tonight. I've only said that 5 times. So let's call it quits. We've been hanging out here for an hour since we ended the show officially. Exactly right now, it's 10:56 and 17 seconds, which is when I started the exit music an hour ago to the second. So here we are. Parents, don't break too many wooden spoons. It'll get better. We all know this. We all know it. Kids are only, thank you very much, Scotty. You're welcome, Carly. Kids only understand a backhand, says Field Guy. How many kids you got, Field Guy? Oh, yeah. Ellery from way over there said 29. You got 29 kids. So good for you, man. Glad to hear it. Hear the drawer open. Yep, there it is. That's all it takes sometimes. It's Pavlovian. So, good night, Paige. Thanks for being here. Everybody, thanks for hanging out for the extra time. Like I say, it was just fun just sitting and chatting. Good to connect with you all again. Thanks for being here tonight. Remember, Tuesday through Friday of this week still to come. And we'll see you all back here tomorrow night for the next edition. So, that's all I got. I got no other way to wrap it up. I'm not going to do closing music because this isn't really a show. But you do know what? This has all been recorded. It's all going to be on the YouTube channel. So there it is. So anybody who stuck this out watching this archive in the distant future, I hope you enjoyed the show that ended an hour ago. And folks, I'll see you all tomorrow night. So you have a good night. Goodbye.